6. Till then, by nature crowned, each patriarch sate, king, priest, and parent of his growing state. On him their second providence they hung, their law his eye, their oracle his tongue. He from the wondering furrow called the food, taught to command the fire, control the flood, draw forth the monsters of the abyss profound, or fetch the aerial eagle to the ground. Till drooping, sickening, dying they began, whom they revered as God, to mourn as man. Then, looking up, from sire to sire explored our first great father, and that first adored, or plain tradition that this all begun, conveyed unbroken faith from sire to son. The worker from the work distinct was known, and simple reason never sought but one. Ere wit oblique had broke that steady light, man like his maker saw that all was right. To virtue in the path of pleasure trod, and owned a father when he owned a God. Love all the faith and all the allegiance then, for nature knew no right divine in men, no ill could fear in God, and understood a sovereign being but a sovereign good. True faith and true policy united ran, this was but love of God, and this of man, who first taught souls enslaved and realms undone, the enormous faith of many made for one, that proud exception to all nature's laws, to invert the world and counterwork its cause. Force first made conquest, and that conquest law, till superstition taught the tyrant awe. Then shared the tyranny, then lent it aid, and gods of conquerors, slaves of subjects made. She midst the lightning's blaze and thunder's sound, when rocked the mountain and when groaned the ground, she taught the weak to bend, the proud to pray, to power unseen and mightier far than they. She from the rending earth and bursting skies saw God descend and fiends infernal rise. Here fixed the dreadful, there the blessed abodes. Fear made her devils, and weak hope her gods. Gods partial, changeful, passionate, unjust, whose attributes were rage, revenge, or lust, such as the souls of cowards might conceive, and formed like tyrants, tyrants would believe. Zeal then, not charity, became the guide, and hell was built on spite, and heaven on pride. Then sacred seemed the ethereal vault no more. Altars grew marble then, and reeked with gore. Then first the flamen tasted living food, next his grim idol smeared with human blood. When heaven's own thunders shook the world below, and played the god an engine on his foe. So drives self-love through just and through unjust, to one man's power, ambition, lucre, lust. The same self-love in all becomes the cause of what restrains him, government and laws. For what one likes, if others like as well, what serves one will, when many wills rebel. How shall he keep what sleeping or awake a weaker may surprise, a stronger take? His safety must his liberty restrain, all join to guard what each desires to gain. Forced into virtue thus by self-defense, even kings learn justice and benevolence. Self-love forsook the path it first pursued, and found the private in the public good. 'Twas then the studious head or generous mind, follower of God or friend of humankind, poet or patriot, rose but to restore the faith and moral nature gave before. Relumed her ancient light, not kindled new, if not God's image, yet his shadow drew. Taught powers due use to people and to kings, taught not to slack nor strain its tender strings. The less or greater, set so justly true, the touching one must strike the other too, till jarring interests of themselves create the according music of a well-mixed state. Such is the world's great harmony that springs from order, union, full consent of things. Where small and great, where mighty, where weak and mighty made to serve, not suffer, strengthen, nor invade. More powerful each as needful to the rest, and in proportion as it blesses blessed, draw to one point and to one center bring beast, man, or angel, servant, lord, or king. For forms of government let fools contest, whate'er is best administered is best. For modes of faith let graceless zealots fight, he can't be wrong whose life is in the right. In faith and hope the world will disagree, but all mankind's concern is charity. All must be false that thwart this one great end, and all of God that bless mankind or mend. Man, like the generous vine, supported lives. The strength he gains is from the embrace he gives. On their own axis, as the planets run, yet make at once their circle round the sun, so two consistent motions act the soul, and one regards itself, and one the whole. Thus God and nature linked the general frame, and bade self-love and social be the same.